We'll see if I can clip that. All right, so AIDIT is the framework for communicating with patients developed by the Studer Group. Each one of these elements occur in every patient interaction. So what that looks like is when you approach, you acknowledge, you introduce throughout that, you would make sure you give them the duration of the duration's about managing expectations, right? The duration of how long it's going to take to get the results, how long is the exam itself going to take, all those things are important to people. And then fully explaining helps them to be more adherent to your instructions and compliant when they leave if they have aftercare and things like that. And thank you is a way of sincerely sharing with your patient, that you appreciate them allowing you to take care of them or whatever you're thankful for about that interaction. It's the close, okay? So what this looks like is, I'll just kind of talk through. Chandel, will you be my patient? Thank you. Come on. We're going to immortalize you, but nobody can see your face, so you're fine. Okay. All right. So, here. So when I acknowledge, so if I come out to the waiting room, this is your daughter. you're like 80. All right. I come out, and Miss Robinson, right?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Jeremy.
Hi.
Is it Shandy? Can I call you that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Hi, I'm Jeremy. I'm the tech. What's your name?
Bailey.
Hi, Bailey. So what I do is, if there's multiple people in the waiting room, I'm going to acknowledge all the people that are with my patient. Because those people, if they're in the waiting room with them, they are in the ER with them or whatever, they are, that person is very important to them. So they're as concerned with this information as the patient is themselves, sometimes even more so. Right? Like if mom doesn't care. She's grizzled, right? She's old or whatever, but the daughter's over here nervous for her mama. You see what I mean? So sometimes it's more important to communicate to the family than it is even the patient. The patient's like, whatever, I've been doing this for 2 years. I've had cancer my whole life. Right? Like that's how they're acting. That's their attitude. So anyway, so I acknowledge everybody. And the fundamental takeaway of the acknowledgement is to make a human connection first. Does that make sense? You want that human to human, that person to person connection that kind of gets you out of the element of professional and patient. So they don't, you want to break that stigma of like assembly line care, right? Because sometimes you get so busy at a facility, you're literally running people through, and then people start feeling like numbers are paychecks rather than humans. So that's why you acknowledge them as people. Make eye contact, talk to them as a human. So that's acknowledged. The introduction of AIDIT is, hey, I'm Jeremy. I say my name, but one of the key elements of that is I want to establish a rapport with my patient in addition to building up my credibility. Okay, so credibility in a hospital situation is something that I can pass on, right? So if I did Shandy's test, right, and I'm going to take her over to Caitlin in CT. Right, I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to take over CT now. Caitlin's been doing this for years. Right, she's going to be great at this, so she'll take really good care of you, okay? Boom. And I talked her up. If she was a nurse, I'd say the same thing. Now, you want to do this in a sincere way. If you don't have anything good to say about that person, say something good about somebody else. Right? If you don't like the ER nurse that's taking care of them, just be like, hey, this ER staff is, they really care about their patients. Be honest when you do it. Don't just BS people. You know what I mean? So that's part of it, is building other people up. But I also want to build myself up and let the patient trust in my competence. So remember when we're going through the history and we're walking back, it's like, have you ever done this before? Do you know what we're doing? All that. Then once I know what they know, I'm going to say, hey, no big deal though. This is super routine. Or I've done thousands of these. Or we do this all the time. Whatever it is to put them at ease about the severity and difficulty of the procedures. Does that make sense? All right. And what you're going to run into, too, is sometimes you're going to ask a patient to do something, and they're going to be like, I can't. How do you think you're supposed to respond to that? Any ideas? No?
That's okay. We can figure something else out.
Something like that. Right. You never meet them saying no with aggression. Never meet head on. Anybody ever caught an egg? You ever had soft hands, like where you throw an egg and you got to catch it without cracking it? Mm-hmm. So that's kind of how I deal with all complaints and all negativity from patients, even coworkers. I just receive it rather than confront it like this, because I'm aggressive by nature. If I respond that way, it's going to be bad, right? People are going to perceive me like that. So I receive every complaint like with soft hands. I'm like, okay, That's okay. Like I can't, and they yell at you. I can't do that. I can't do that. Okay, cool. Do your best. We'll just do our best. No big deal. Nothing's a big deal. It's cool. We do our best. That's how I receive everything, because it takes the wind out of their sails. Now they don't have anything to fight. I just agreed with them, and then they do what I ask. They just need. That's how it happens. It's like magic. You guys will see it, clinics. All right. So with the introduction, I want to minimize the difficulty of the procedure. I want to give them confidence in my competence, and I also want to hand off whatever. So if I've taken great care of Chandel, right? I've taken fantastic care of her. She's appreciative of that interaction. I'm going to take that relationship, and I'm just going to hand it off to the next person in the facility for them to nurture. So I've developed this rapport, because her perception of me is her perception of the entire facility. Does that make sense? And I'm just going to pass that around. Caitlin builds on it. Send her somewhere else. Then she has a phone call. Somebody else in the hospital is doing this too when she calls in. And that her perception of the hospital is phenomenal care. Because that's what this is about. This isn't about what really happens. It's about how they think things happen. It's about the patient's perception. Does that make sense? All right, so the duration is very simple. You just weave that in wherever. So when I'm coming to get her from the waiting room, all right, cool, well, I'm going to take her back for a procedure. This is going to take like 10 minutes, okay? If it's going to take longer, I'll let you know. So I establish an expectation. She's going to want her mom back in 10 minutes. If I'm not back in 10 minutes, what do? I send somebody up front, hey, we're in some complications. It's going to be another 15 minutes or so, okay? Just want to give you a heads up. People appreciate that. If you don't do that, you set an expectation and fail to meet it. They no longer trust you, right? It's as simple as that. Even if they don't vocalize that, that's really what's going on. So it's about, but if I say, hey, I'll be back in 15 minutes, and I'm back in 10, sweet, right? That's even better. So estimate the long range. One of the philosophies is you want to under-promise and over-deliver as a basic habit, right? I want to tell you what I think I can do, and then I want to give you even more than I said. Right? If I can do that. So under promise, over deliver, give them the duration, and then when I have her back in the room, I'm going to explain again, hey, we're going to take a few pictures. You have to hold your breath for some, but just for a quick second. People want to know, how long is it going to take? How long do I got to lay on my back? How long do I got to stay in here? Right? And you need to weigh that throughout so that they have appropriate expectations of what you're going to do to them. How long do I got to hold it in that position? Just a couple seconds. You see what I mean? So duration is very important. It's one of the primary things people want to know. And when they're done, they want to know how long they got to wait till they get the results. Some of them are like, did you see anything? Right? And like, I can't. You know what I mean? So they want to know immediately. So you want to manage that. So as soon as I'm done and they get dressed and they're ready to come out, I'm like, hey. So our next step is, right? And I tell them that your doctor will get the results in 24 to 48 hours. If you have any questions, feel free to call them. But if there's questions for us as well, you can go ahead and give us a call. You see what I mean? So I'm answering that question before they even ask it. And then explanations, just like duration. It doesn't have to be in that spot, like in order. I'm explaining what's going to happen and what to expect from the moment I contact my patient. Right? If I see that they're inquisitive or they look uncomfortable, let me explain. I'm going to offer more information. If I get an objection, if they're like, I don't want to do it, that's okay. Do your best. You know what? If you can't do it, you can't do it, but let's just try, and this is why. We need to do this standing up so that if there's a perforation in your bowel that we can see the freedom. I'm going to educate them as I explain. Does that make sense? So all that, you just weave it all together. And then when I'm done, I'm like, hey, thank you for letting me take care of you. You were a great patient. You were great. Really appreciate it. You made it easy on me. High five or something. You see what I mean? So that's kind of how it works. So now you guys can listen to this video and integrate this information into your patient care when you're practicing, because I will grade you on it when we come.